first coming in last. Went to the bank, happy alive. Nigga fuck love, rather by rap. Nigga fuck love, rather by rap.
All right. Episode 48. Woodcrest certified. We in this bitch. Hey, what's up, my boys? We in here again, episode 48. Thank you all for watching and listening. As always, like, comment, subscribe to each of the videos. Chris has, obviously the Bronco game is on right now. Go Broncos. And Chris is ahead of me, so I never know what's going on. I just hear his reaction and I want to fucking die. But here we go. Exciting news. Not only did this man get a contract extension, but he also caught a mean ass right hook the week before. Jordan Poole from Draymond Green. Interesting times in Golden State. A lot of friction potentially. I don't know. It'd be interesting if that shit blows up. But yeah, take it away. Pete, you said you had a gangster ass take on that.
Yeah, I was saying, hold on, my bad.
Oh, well, oh no. Wait a minute.
Did that even do anything? You turned the light switch on and it didn't do nothing?
It was for something else, but
yeah.
But it was two things. Draymond Green, he a problem, right? Like, do they have to get rid of him? Because it seemed like he has static with like everybody on the team. Like,
is he though?
Right, like
then he have static with KD too.
Yeah, I got a different take.
No, but so it was two takes. That one, how y'all feel about that? And then with this one, like if somebody try you in a professional setting, how far can they go before you're able to retaliate? I posted something today on my Instagram about that. Like, it's your job to control what you say to me, right? But it's my job to choose how I want to react to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so how far can you take it in a professional setting before it's too much? Cause he stuck that motherfucker like he leapfrogged that nigga like meat, like you know
stuck his ass.
Yeah, like he put everything into that shit. But like really, the biggest issue, I don't think Draymond's necessarily a problem, but just like the coaches and like the players have said about it, the biggest issue is the fact that a video came out of it, right? Because like practice, like fights happen all the time, bro. Like that shit happen in high school all the time. College, not as much. It's a bunch of like, white boys, but whatever. But like, that shit happens all the time in practices. Like shit gets tense.
Like and that,
huh?
Like that to that level? Like somebody getting like fucking chin check, bro.
That was a pretty personal punch. That wasn't like get out of my face punch. That was I want to end your life punch. That was a
beat your ass,
bro. So it's like, so my point of view is like, this is awkward. Like this, first off, like this is work. You know what I mean? Like this is their job, their profession. So it's like this dude has to work with the guy that just punched him in the face
every day.
Like what happens in a week or two where maybe Draymond says something, even I don't know, that Jordan Poole doesn't even like a little bit, and then he just like thinks to himself like, this guy punched me in the face. And like pretty much nothing happened to him. If you want to say he got fined, it's like, all right, sure. But how does the punishment fit the action? Probably not.
I mean,
but it's like if Jordan Poole just thinks to himself, like, man, this guy punched me in the face, and they didn't do shit about it. Like, I think the only way to like really genuinely move forward is they got to send him to the ring, bro. They got to put the gloves on. They got to go in Pete's trunk and get the gloves. Like,
he ain't putting the gloves on though, because
he stole it.
This is gonna be so awkward,
bro. But like from my understanding, the argument came from Poole talking shit about Draymond's money or whatever, and like not getting a contract extension or some shit like that. At the end of the day, for the moment, Poole won. Like he got his 140 mil contract extension. They ain't talking to Draymond about his extension right now. Like he ain't getting no extension.
I mean, Draymond's already made a lot of bread, though.
We're not talking about who won or not. We're talking about who was wrong and who was right.
Well, I mean,
I mean,
Draymond's for
and
sure
Draymond's
wrong.
clearly in the wrong.
Yeah, like he's for sure wrong.
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, all right, so
No way.
Go ahead, Chris.
so there's two different takes. I think the take that most people are getting from this is what Ricky was going about, was that Draymond was jealous. Because I think it's been a long time coming that people seen the Draymond Green decline. Even though he's a fucking important part to the team, the guy can't hit a fucking three. His offense is you know. If you had to choose between him, Andrew Wiggins, and Jordan Poole, everybody's gonna pick Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins.
Both of them got paid.
Right, and both of them got paid, unsurprisingly. So a lot of people were like, "Oh, Draymond Green is looking at this guy with envy, and that's why he overreacted the way that he did." I'm looking at it a different way. I feel like what Peterson said is relative to what this is. Where Kevin Durant, we've already seen, is kind of a punk ass nigga.
Yeah, not kind of. He is, but yeah, keep going.
Right? And I
Yeah.
feel like Draymond Green is he's a glue guy, right? Like he understands what a team needs to win. Like, I feel like it's very fair to say that at this point.
Fact.
And he identified these bitch ass tendencies in Kevin Durant. He called him out for it. And I don't think he was wrong for that. And what it looks like from my perspective is that maybe Jordan Poole developed some of these bitch ass tendencies as well. Because he wasn't going at Andrew Wiggins, and Andrew Wiggins got paid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. On that note, I did also, from what I was reading, was like Jordan Poole was like
Saying some
becoming
out of line
yeah,
shit.
like he was being an asshole. Like he's like letting this shit get to his head. Like this dude's fucking,
So, like,
he's getting hella cocky.
I feel like as much of, like, it's so easy to villainize the guy. Like, you look at him and you, like, if I was a teacher and I seen Draymond Green, I would assume he was the one doing some bad shit in the back of the class, right? Like,
Why is that?
like it's very easy to villainize Draymond Green. But I feel like he instinctively understands the qualities a team needs to be successful. And he's seen in Jordan Poole things that were counter to that, and it created a conflict. That's what I think.
So he knocked his ass out.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I feel
If he
like
got-
these situations are complex. They went back and forth. Draymond Green probably rose up, and Jordan Poole rose up, and you know what I mean. And then he stuck him. Like, that's how these things go. Where a veteran is talking to a young nigga, and the young nigga's like, "Bro, you're not gonna talk to me like that. You old and washed." And Draymond's like, "I'm gonna show you old and washed."
You can't whoop me though. Yeah,
I had a
if-
conversation about this at my job too, and I said that I was like, some of these young niggas never got their ass whooped, and you can tell, like it shows. So, like in these professional, that's not really professional environments, because half of these owners racist as fuck anyway. So you should be professional on that end, but they be wanting the players to be more professional than them, right? So they take the human side out of these people. You talk crazy to somebody, you're gonna have to get this ass whooping. You feel me? To certain people, because certain people come from that for real. Like they come from certain environments where you're gonna have to get this work, like, or shut the fuck up. You feel me? Like I posted something about that too. I was like, if you're not willing to deal with the consequences behind the things that you say, you should shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, because some people will really beat you the fuck up out here, and you just gonna have to take it. Huh?
I said Alex Jones, the guy that's been sued for like $1 billion.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
He's still talking shit. That nigga's crazy.
I think going to the the whole fight. If everybody on the team kind of like looked around, because I also did, or I saw some stuff that said like Jordan Poole essentially like had it coming. So it's like if the shit happens and everybody looks around and like there's like a consensus that it was like warranted, then
Everyone's like, that's what you
I guess
get.
I think then like I guess moving forward they don't really have to step in the ring because everybody's like, you know what I mean? Like
shouldn't have been
it's
like
talking
you
bound to
earned.
happen, bro. Yeah, you know
Everyone
what I
looked at
mean?
him like you earned that shit, bitch.
And he's younger on the team too, so like all the tenured guys they really can just keep it moving.
Like, nah, honestly, like that's what I was gonna counter what you said earlier. Like, I feel like growing up, there used to be scuffles regularly. Like, I mean, again, not to I haven't seen many Falcon punches, but like a tension builds up between young men, right? And it boils over sometimes. And I feel like you could fight this guy and then end up cool the very next day. Like I really think like what Rookie said is correct. The reason this is to this magnitude is that we got a video. If it wasn't for a video, it'll probably just be a thing where, there was a little conflict that Warriors practice and you'll never hear about it again.
I mean, if it wasn't for the video, like he probably wouldn't have gotten fined or nothing. Like you would have been probably chilling. I mean,
They might not even fucking talked about it.
Yeah, they probably would have just said fuck it. Yeah, true. Yeah, I do feel that way. I do think
if I'm Jordan Poole, though, you're gonna have to see me every time I see you. Like it's gonna be on site.
I bet you that's not what's gonna happen.
I'm talking about me. No.
I bet you Jordan Poole is gonna remember that he's light skinned.
Yeah, he's just gonna go count all his money, bro.
Somebody hit me like that, boy. It's over. I'm talking about in traffic. I'm running my car into your car. Like we're gonna have
it's like that.
That nigga's fist was a whole arm's length behind his head. Like,
that's what
that nigga pops back on me like that, bro. Like I might not even say good morning to him no more.
And he jumped with this shit. Like he threw everything he had into that shit.
Everything.
Bro, he stepped into that motherfucker.
Yeah.
He asked the whole state of Michigan for strength.
It was like a spirit bomb fist, bro. He went at his shit.
And Jit folded like a launcher. He fell down like
bro, like can you even come back from that though? Like you talking about you're gonna have to see me. It's like, bro, you're done.
I think that'll be a bad business decision for Jordan Poole.
Y'all just don't talk about it again, nigga. Just
don't hurt the brand, bro.
Don't
we gotta go to war. It's gonna be
bro.
Iraq. Goddamn, like
nah, that's just chalk, bro. Low key,
light skin, so they got different rules, so they follow different sets.
Not just that, but like I really think Draymond Green would fuck Jordan Poole up.
Yeah,
we saw it already. Imagine he did more than one punch. Jit would have been dead. Like
combo. Oh no,
not the 3-piece combo. Yeah.
Like Jordan Poole is shifty, but I don't think it'll stop him from catching that asshole.
I do think it's kind of crazy though, like for him, again with the reports with him being like a cocky little shit now. Like this man has Steph Curry on his team. Arguably he's like one of the most humble fucking superstars out there. And like you're gonna be a cocky little shit when you like see the way that this guy carries himself. Like that's kind of crazy to me.
That ain't got nothing to do with how you was raised. He probably was raised like a bitch.
That's 100%. Like he spent what 17, 18 years on whatever streets he grew up on, and he spent 2-3 years on the Warriors. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of these little kids, it's not even being raised properly. They neighborhoods and homeboys is teaching them how to behave. So they come in thinking like, yeah, I got Curry. We could win the ship. Fuck all you motherfuckers. I'm that dude. And I got paid on top of that. His ego out there. Like,
yeah, I guess that's fair.
Like people were talking about how Marcus Smart can't be the guy to address the team. And it's like, I feel like it's that same type of energy where it's like, you got a person who's passionate about winning and understands what it takes to win. But you feel like he's not on the level that you can respect. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Jordan Poole sees himself as a whole nother level above Draymond Green, and that's why the shit happened like that. If Steph Curry would have been talking to him that way, or somebody like Kevin Durant or whatever, I feel like Jordan Poole would have got in line. But the fact that it was Draymond Green, he's like, nah, this old nigga is not going to talk to me like that.
And there wasn't there wasn't a lot of talking, just that shit's funny. True. Well, we'll
talk
see.
Shit, get hit.
Yeah.
The motto lives on,
Yeah. We'll see what comes from this, the rise and fall of the Warriors. Draymond Green, maybe.
I love it.
So you think he gets an extension or not with them guys?
Dude, so next season with Draymond just opting into his contract, right? Not even them doing an extension, their luxury tax bill is higher than like 15 NBA teams total salary. Maybe
Damn.
not 15, that's OD, but like a good amount of NBA teams salary. Like they're looking at a 400 something K payroll, dog. I don't know if
Yeah.
they
400K
could do it. Yeah,
or
400
400
million, sorry. 400 million dollar fucking
$399 million discrepancy. No big deal.
Shut the fuck up. You know what I meant? 400 plus $1 million fucking payroll.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Niggas,
Hey man, you get what you pay for, bro. These motherfuckers keep winning championships, dog. So
them niggas in LA,
I see the Warriors going up.
the niggas in LA and the niggas in San Francisco are not worried about spending no money, bro. Like they gonna
Nope.
spend that.
Nope. They make that shit up just in like their damn naming rights deal every year. Cause that shit was like close to I think it was like close to $500 million or some shit like that. Just in their naming rights. Yeah,
You
them
said
up
500 million or billion?
million
Oh,
million.
What nigga?
a lot of
500
money.
billion?
Yeah.
The team's worth 500 billion.
Hey, this is rookie giving us numbers, bro. So I just want to make sure we're on the same
Like the
page.
Cowboys
Here.
are the most fucking expensive franchise in the world, and the niggas are worth like 7 million or 7 billion. 500 billion, nigga. I'm giving you a neck.
Dude,
So I'm giving you a neck.
no, you're not, man. You keep your hands to yourself, bro.
Last
What?
time somebody told me that, they caught the hands.
I'm not them,
Cowboys
buddy.
are the first franchise worth $8 billion as of August 22nd, 2022.
You them
Good as
boys.
fuck.
Fuck them boys. Trash ass boys.
That's a lot of money, boy. God damn.
8
No,
billion?
no, them niggas are fucking. And that's hypothetical. Like they haven't actually tried to sell a team. If they try to sell a team, I bet you they can get way more than 8 billion.
I mean, the fucking Walmart bought the Broncos for what was it, like 4.6, and that was the highest at the time. Like
Yeah.
if Jerry decides to sell the team, which he never would, it would have to be like, I'm not wishing this upon him. Obviously, I'm just saying like after he passes or whatever. Like if someone next in line was like, I'm gonna sell this shit, like
Yeah.
that's just gonna go for like 8,
Uh,
12, like $12 million probably.
He would have to get caught up in a scandal. Like Dan Snyder would actually have to have fucking dirt on him.
Dude, Dan Snyder.
No, bro, he need to expose everybody, bro. That shit would be so dramatic and so chaotic.
Yo,
It'd be fun.
Like Jerry
You
Jones.
discover some fucking
Jerry
creeps, I
Jones-
bet.
Jerry Jones' fucking response cracked me up. He's like, "No, I don't have anything to hide."
Bro, sound like a villain.
sweating and shit.
These niggas are fucking. They're weirdos, bro.
No, that shit would be kind of crazy if he did though. I'm more interested in the shit that they were talking about he has on Roger Goodell. Oh, what the fuck? Let's go.
Jit gonna end up hanging himself.
Yo, like Dan Snyder
Snyder.
is really the nigga who gets mad and kicks the basketball over the fence. That's real cute. Like, that's the wild is that like this nigga has been the worst owner in like sports forever, and now he's mad that niggas is telling him that he sucks. Like, and his retaliation is to be like, "Well, I suck, but other people kind of suck too." Like,
Y'all just don't know about it.
By the way, you gonna pass.
supposedly he's the one who leaked the Gruden emails. Supposedly,
Really? Why?
So he a
That'd
rat.
be
Oh, he a
because
big rat.
He's a spiteful motherfucker here. That's why.
damn. Did John Gruden fuck his bitch, bro? Like, is this another case of that again? Like,
Honestly, like
he
I
made
would not
Udoka stats.
at all. Like Gruden looks like the type of nigga that'll fuck your bitch.
Yeah.
My bitch getting fucked by John Gruden, bro. That's a L, bro.
I mean, bro, he's worth probably at least $3 more million than you are. Like,
At least,
He said at least.
at least. But still, bro. Like, well, I don't know. You're right. You got a solid point there.
you're like I'll be like, I'll be mad at her, but I'll be like, damn, I feel you.
But can't forgive that.
If she
Gotta
come
go.
back with 50 million, you taking her back?
I'm gonna scam her ass. I'm gonna make her think I'm taking her back, but I'm gone, bro.
I'm talking about Chris. Would you?
Now that we got you on camera, I don't think that shit's gonna happen.
Well, the good thing I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not in
nigga-
competition with John Gruden, thankfully.
My nigga did a tell-all book before he did the actual action. He's like, if I would do it, this is how I'll do it.
Hey.
My dog out here crying right now. I don't know what the hell's going on. Yeah. Oh, look at him. I guess he shit in the apartment. So she was like, she can't find it with him. So she threw him in here real quick while she tries to clean it, I guess.
That's what's up.
You little dookie butt.
He said that's what's up.
You little shit. You little stinky butt. Yeah.
Stank booty ass.
Stank booty.
He gonna come sit in your lap now, bro. What?
I bet you he licks his asshole.
That
Bro, rookie, please
What?
tell me not one of those dog owners
that boy is
dog.
stupid.
That
So
what?
there's boundaries, bro. You gotta let your dog know that there's boundaries, bro. Don't be out here making out with your dog, bro. Please.
Nah, I don't do that. I put my chin up. Like, no, I'm not with that. I don't like that.
Ew.
What?
Do your thing, bro.
No, I'm talking about what David talking about.
No
You hear him
dogs
crying?
licking you. It's like they lick their butthole, bro. When
Do you
dogs
do
try to lick
that?
at
You
my
one of
butt,
them white people, David?
When
I'm
David-
telling Brooke not to be one of those.
Oh,
when David
okay.
is down
Am
talking-
I one of those? What the fuck? Are you crazy?
When David is down talking any stereotype, you know the stereotype is white people.
Yeah, for sure.
They be kissing their dogs, bro. Like,
But I was asking if you was one of them type of white people.
bro, you see, that's ridiculous. This guy literally has seen me with a dog. And it's gonna ask that.
Ain't no way he was kissing that fucking demon.
Or Lola. I'm not kissing Lola either. No one. I'm not kissing no dog, bro. Like I said, there's boundaries, bro.
Nah, I kissed his forehead.
It's a little different. Their forehead doesn't come in contact with like their butthole usually, right? I mean, and if your dog's forehead does, like, no, bro.
Yo, this man's crying. Hey, speaking of dogs, I don't know. It obviously got me. When you talking about your dog, it got me thinking about Florida. What do y'all think about that situation with? Sorry, my dog's crying. What do y'all think about getting the life sentence?
Horseshit.
Let's get it together, nigga. That shit is fucking wild to me.
Really?
That shit is fucking
Yeah, bro.
wild. Like,
17 kids, and Florida has the death penalty. Like,
fuck that nigga. Look, yo, all right. So like, the argument or the logic behind the decision, according to whatever, is that the guy was crazy, right? Like his sister's testimony leaned whatever amount of jurors to decide that he wasn't in his right mind because of the things that his mom was doing when she was pregnant with him. Fair enough. But nigga, in order to shoot up a school, you have to be a nut job to fucking begin with.
I was just about to say that.
I didn't need a sister to explain this shit to me. Like, I get it. Like, yeah, you're a fucking nut job. Maybe you did black out. Maybe you were out of control of your actions. But nigga, like, you ruined the lives of so many people, not just the 17 kids, not just those 17 families, but the survivors as well. Like, all their lives are fucked. And because this guy, his mom had a cocaine addiction, we're going to give him a pass? Fuck that. Like, we need to not even give this nigga the shot. Like, we need to put him on the fucking chair to send him to hell. Like, for real, bro. Like, I felt that was one of the biggest misses our justice system has ever had, bro. Like, I was really, really disappointed with that ruling.
I mean, but I don't know. Like, I think that shit's sick altogether because even before he even get to the courtroom, the fact that you could kill 17 kids, because we had this conversation already, and make it out that building is sick as fuck to me anyways, because there's people that even got shot for less. But cops are not judge, juries, and executioners, so I get that, right? But like you said, in the southern state, in Florida, the fact that you even get him that pass is sick in a way because, and mind you, I want the motherfucker to rot in jail too. Like, he need to rot. He need to get Jeffrey Dahmer where somebody go in that shit mad as fuck and beat the brakes off of him, like, type shit. But the fact that you use crazy to not give him the needle is wild because what Chris said, you had to be crazy to shoot up kids anyways. Like we've been through the motherfuckers. You no normal person wake up and be like, oh my God, I'm gonna go shoot kids and I'm normal. Like you gotta be a sick fuck.
Like we want some nigga to grow up in a nice neighborhood and go to a private school, then shoot up a school and be like, oh, he's worthy of the death penalty. Like,
yeah. Like,
but with that, like again,
don't excuse it, please.
I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying, like, personally, like when these motherfuckers go and shoot up schools or they go shoot some people up and then they kill themselves, right? Like that shit gets me hot because they didn't have to suffer, right? They just took the easy way out. So like in my mind, isn't this worse? Because you have to spend your entire life in jail. You have to spend your entire life suffering, right? And until the end of time. So like, isn't it worse this way? Because there's no way out.
My internet connection went fucking haywire, but fuck that shit. Because if that was the case, then there would be no death penalty, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
well, I mean, that's also.
Like,
I mean, yeah.
We need to kill this motherfucker. Like, this nigga needs to die.
Wasn't this an appropriate time to exercise the death penalty? Like, I believe so.
It definitely, and again, I'm not saying that I don't agree with it in this situation either. I 100% agree with it. I'm just saying I've always looked at shooters and like when they kill themselves, it makes me mad because it's like y'all didn't have to atone for anything, right? Like you had no repercussions, right? You just ended your life. You just got away with the shit, right? So it's like this way he kind of suffers and has to actually, you know, he has to have some sort of repercussions for what he did.
I don't think he's gonna stay in jail too long, though. I think somebody gonna get to him unless, which they're not gonna do that forever. They're gonna get him 23-1s for a long time. He's not gonna be in gym pop unless he asks for it way later on. So he's gonna be in a maximum security 23 hours in his own cell, then an hour a day outside of his cell for a long time. But when somebody catch him, I don't think he's gonna live that long. Like, because a lot of times in jail, they don't play with that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, anybody that harms children, especially to this extent, like personally, my beliefs are like ancient like times, like really violent, like cruel and unusual will be an understatement with what I would like to happen to people that commit these type of
stone that motherfucker for a life.
Yeah, like I think either way, like if he dies, like again, I don't think he has to suffer the consequences. But I think even 23 hours in a cell, like I don't think that's bad enough. Like he needs there needs to be like the cells need to be like enclosing or some shit with like fucking something disgusting, like falling from the wall with like the screams of just children like playing over. Like I don't know, like some psychotic shit, bro. Like I'm telling you, like don't vote me for president, bro, because I'm gonna fuck people that hurt children up. Like it's not gonna be pretty. Like they're gonna want to die. Like they're gonna be asking.
Scared that you thought that up in your mind. Damn.
Wow. I don't agree with them though, man. Like that's some crazy ass shit, bro. Like, and it's for what? Like you really thought to yourself, man, I'm gonna go end the lives of all these children, like these innocent children. He didn't know them. He didn't go after anybody that he knew. He didn't go after like a bully. And he just got a bunch of people in his way. Like these are people he didn't even go to fucking school with these people.
No.
He just went like, oh, this is a school I went to, so I'm gonna just spray whoever I see. Like,
that's what in the beginning, like when we first talked about it, I was like, their excuse, you know, certain people of complexions get certain excuses when they do certain stuff. Oh, he was getting bullied, so go shoot up the bullies if that was the case. You know what I'm saying? Like you go shoot kids that don't have, they probably on the playground and PE and art and music and they science class, math, whatever the case may be, not having a care in the world because, you know, kids don't give a fuck about nothing but fun, you know, and then you just run up in the school and just go to blasting. Like now all these other kids, like you said, the kids that die, that's super unfortunate. The kids that live, in my opinion, is even more unfortunate because they probably can't even go to sleep at night or approach schools. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Imagine being a fucking parent to any kid who was at that school, bro. Like, that's just crazy. Like, I wouldn't, like, those kids aren't going outside no more. They're not going to go out with their friends, nothing.
They
You
might
know
not
what I
even
mean?
want to go to school no more.
They don't want to go to school
Yeah.
no more. Like,
And understandably so, nigga. That's insanely traumatic, bro. Like, people be going through bad breakups and be suffering trauma. Like,
for years.
imagine this shit. That shit's crazy, bro. Even like niggas in Afghanistan, at least you have the means to fucking fight back. You know what I mean? Like, imagine being fucking trapped in a classroom while niggas kicks down your door and shoot people. You know, that's just crazy.
Yeah, and you're fucking 10 years old, bro. Like,
and you're fucking 10 years old, bro. Like,
Some kids was younger than that though. Like, that was around that shit. Like, you
No,
went to
Parkland-
school
Parkland was
from
a high school,
kindergarten
wasn't
to 5th grade. Like,
mm,
kindergarten, you like 6.
bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, at this point, these kids is literally fucked from 6 to they're old. Like, you never gonna get over that. You just gonna try to learn how to cope with that. You feel me? Like, that don't go away. That's never going away. Like,
they're living a horror movie, bro. Like,
literally.
yeah. So it's like, in addition to the 17 fatal victims, like, there's more victims than just the ones, you know,
Yeah.
who died. Like,
Probably well over 100. My elementary school was so packed. I don't know how packed that school was, but it could be easily 400 people that go to that school.
And
Right,
it's way
yeah.
more than 100, bro. Because I'm telling you, like, if each one of those kids had at least one parent, that's like they're grieving to this day. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It's been, you know, what's so sick about that too. The people that live, because I watched the Jeffrey Dahmer stuff on Netflix. The people that live through that to this day still suffering. Like, to this. So imagine these kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that happened a minute ago. Like, and these kids, that's just happened. That's not even that long ago. Like,
it's crazy their brain has to develop with this experience already in there. Like,
it's already fucking hard enough, nigga. Like, I figure just your identity, like the things that you actually believe in, the things that you believe are right, like, and you also have to deal with the fact that you're a fucking survivor of some homicidal maniac trying to, for no reason. Like, imagine trying to process that shit. Like you got women who end up in like abusive relationships, and there's a whole psychology behind that. But like, to end up in a scenario where you did absolutely nothing,
literally,
like you were supposed to, you were just sitting there, and some nigga who went there a minute ago decided, I'm gonna go shoot that shit up. You know what I mean?
Then some of them probably gonna have stuff like survivor's remorse and just so much. It's gonna be like a fuck ton of mental issues, and then that's going on, and they just gotta deal with it. Then you have people on the sideline that saying it was a hoax, it was a setup to fearmonger us. So it's gonna it's gonna invalidate your
They want to take away our guns.
That whole train of thought is ridiculous. Like,
but then now that invalidates your emotions of the things that you feel from that day on. You know what I'm saying? Then you got to even suffer through that shit when it didn't even have to be a thing to begin with. We could have just allowed these kids to go to school, do what they need to do in school, and go home back to their families. You feel me? Like,
why does this shit only happen in this country too? Like, I feel like that's another like inexplicable like mystery. Like, why is, well, actually no, never mind. It's just so many fucking guns here.
You know exactly why. Yeah.
It's because it's easy. It's easy to get guns. There's so many of them. What did dude's sister say about, like, what was it that his mom did while she was pregnant with him?
Okay. Mom's a prostitute. She was heavy on the crack cocaine, alcohol, basically throughout the entire pregnancy. So the kid was damn good from day one.
Yeah, I just don't see how that correlates into.
Yeah, that's a lot of Black America, but that's cool. Like,
Like,
but it does though. Like, that type of shit does affect someone's behavior. Like if you're abusing your body while you're pregnant, like the kid's gonna come out a certain type of way, right? And the kid's gonna be more susceptible to fucked up behavior. That all checks out. But like me and Peterson already agreed, nigga, we already knew this, right? Like you're not gonna shoot up a school unless you're fucked up in the head. Like if they like, does somebody have to explain to me that the kid who shot up the Walmart in Texas, like they
Or
have
the
to
church.
or the church or whatever, the church in Charleston or the Sandy Hook thing, like you have to explain to me that these kids are fucked up in the head. Like, no, nigga, I already know that they're fucked up. You have to be fucked up in order to go do some shit like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
like you tell me, yeah, my mom was a crack whore. It's like, yeah, that checks out. That makes perfect sense. Like, right?
Yeah, but some of these people that commit these mass shootings didn't deal with none of that though.
Like who?
Like the dude from North, a 15-year-old, I think it was like last week, shot up like a walking trail. He killed 5 people. Just random, like out of nowhere. It was a decent area, like
Yeah, he was
and that
from a
Parkland
decent
area, like
neighborhood
that's a
too.
decent area too.
Yeah.
But like we know that he had a perfect upbringing. Like,
I don't know.
I doubt it.
The
Right? Like, I know for a fact, like the Sandy Hook guy, he was on medication and he was going through therapy his entire life. He got off the medication and then the first thing he did was go to the school and shoot the shit up. Like it's very common. Either that or they were assaulted or molested when they were little kids, or there's some shit that needs to happen to you in order for you to be that fucked up. Like that's a whole nother level of fucked up. You know what I mean?
But even Dave Chappelle said that shit best though. Like a lot of that shit happened in underprivileged communities and stuff like that, and motherfuckers just skip school. Like in a lot of these underprivileged neighborhoods, they're not thinking, oh, let's go shoot up the school. We just like, I'm not going to school altogether. Like, fuck school. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or let me go do drugs to ease my mind or something like that. Like, it's not one time they be like, I'm gonna go shoot up this school. Like, fuck, like, stay home, bitch. The fuck, like
that shit low key. I don't know why it reminded me of this, but that happened to like my uncle when he moved to America. Dude was like in high school still, and like he didn't speak any English. So of course, you know, he's in New York too. So they were just making fun of him because he couldn't speak English. So he just stopped going to school. But now once that he decided to go shoot up the fucking place, right? He just didn't go to school anymore, which is sad. But I'm just saying, like,
it's
I mean, that's the natural response.
It's wild because, like, why do you think that happens?
with what?
Like, why do you think the cultures differ so much when it comes to that, with dealing with that type of shit? I think I formed like a half-baked theory, but I want to hear what you think.
I don't fully understand the question.
I don't understand the question either.
Yeah.
He's saying like he's kind of. Are you saying like why white people react that way compared to like everybody else?
Right.
I think a lot of it comes to a control thing, and as well as like the accessibility to the guns too. Maybe I'm not sure, but I think there's some sort of release, and a lot of times, again, in my experience, like white people grow up like shooting all the time. Like parents have guns, they teach them how to shoot them from young age. They go out to hunting, they do this, and that. So like they get that feeling of pulling the trigger like early on and killing something early on, maybe. I've seen like in my experience, I just know that a lot of white people like grow up shooting already and like hunting and shit. So maybe that has a play to it.
The murder rate is worse in minority neighborhoods, so that's like we could chalk that one.
Okay, well, that was my theory. Next.
But I felt like it was more. I felt like Rook was gonna go in the direction kind of. I think it's more accountability thing. It's almost like with that power dynamic too. It's almost like the access and almost like I could get away with this mentality type shit. I feel like a lot of people that do a lot of weird shit been getting away with it for so long. Like I watch a lot of serial killer related stuff lately, like Samuel Little, Jeffrey Dahmer, the Zodiac Killer, a whole bunch of shit. A lot of these people was on that type of time because they felt like they could blend in and get away with this shit. So it's like I'm gonna continue to do. I don't know about the crazy aspect, but the number of times that they did it is like I'm gonna get away with it. So why not? I don't know why they started it, but why they continue. A lot of them said that it's like I was a middle-aged white man in America, and I didn't think I was ever gonna get caught. And I'm like, that's a strange thing to say. That's sick. Like,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go in a different direction logically, because a lot of these guys who end up doing these fucked up things, they're like loners. These guys are fucking weirdos. They're outcasts, and their whole life they're kind of like looked down upon. I'm pretty sure they're made fun of. I'm pretty sure this whatever this guy's name is, the dude who did the Parkland shit, I'm pretty sure he didn't have no friends growing up. If he did, like maybe another weirdo or something. In comparison to what you're saying about minority neighborhoods, where I feel like the releases that these traumas cause gets more normalized. So like, I've seen a kid punch a teacher in his face. I've seen multiple kids punch a teacher in their face. I've seen 2 girls punch a pregnant lady in their face. And people kind of thought that shit was cool. Kids who skip school, kids who do a lot of fuckery in school that I feel like is a result of the trauma that they've been through. A lot of the behavior just gets normalized, where in some of these other neighborhoods, these kids kind of are on their own and they're looked at as like the other, and then it just gets pent up and then it fucking explodes eventually. I think that's what happens.
but I don't think that fully explained, even though like, cause even in these minority neighborhoods, cause I was first generation immigrant, right? I got picked on like real uncle for not knowing English, because my English was terrible until I had to go to speech damn near my whole up into 7th grade of middle school. I was in speech, right? And it was normalized to pick on the Haitians and who out the band. We talked about this shit the last episode, right? At a certain point, I never was like, I'm finna come to school and kill everybody. I just went to my mom, was like, yo, like, it's annoying. These motherfuckers is picking on me because I barely know English. So I don't want to go to school. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was never like, oh, you motherfuckers, y'all gonna get it one day. It's like, the best thing I can do is to remove myself from these motherfuckers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and I mean, so there's 2 things to that. A, I'm pretty sure that's a normal response across all races, right?
yeah,
Like, not every bullied who's white ends up shooting up a school, right?
which is fact.
So the majority of people who end up in these tense situations end up removing themselves from the situation, right? B, I know for a fact that you got into your share of fights. So you weren't.
I fought like every 2 days.
So you weren't some defenseless sheep, right? Like a lot of these dudes who tried you got punched in their face.
Bad, yeah.
That goes into what I was saying, and on top of that, you also had brothers. So that goes into what I'm saying. Where,
But that third one don't matter because I never had my brothers defend me. And that's
regardless, you had a unit. You weren't by yourself, is what I'm saying. Like in comparison to this one guy who everything he goes through is by himself.
Yeah, I could see. In a way, a lot of things I did go through was by myself because I never went back and be like, yo, such and such. And I just dealt with it however I dealt with it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the experience of being a Haitian in America wasn't unique to you, is what I'm saying. You came home, and I'm pretty sure Gene was like, yo, I had to beat this guy's ass for trying me.
So I get an action.
Right.
Claudia got jumped on the school bus for being Haitian in America because she was older when she came. So, yeah.
Right. So it wasn't I'm not justifying it at all. What I'm saying is that you had a group of people who you could relate to.
But where I disagree, why is it that majority, like you say, across races, we all get bullied in some way, shape, or form, right? But why is it that the majority of the school shooting is one race?
That's what I was saying. That I feel like when it comes to the minorities, the way the stress is released, the stress gets released somehow.
Yeah.
When it comes to the white kid, he kind of just takes it because there's really nothing that he could do.
But why
But
is that though?
why?
Because
Yeah.
I don't understand that statement, because in a lot of these underprivileged white neighborhoods, they're releasing the stress the same way the minority neighborhoods is. They punching teachers, they screaming, they bullying each other, they doing all that.
And in those places, there aren't school shootings, is what I'm saying. Whenever you hear about the shootings, is where? Like these nice little neighborhoods.
Which is true, yeah. Which is true.
But it's not the same. Like, all right, so like a kid in Mill Run who's going through some shit, he goes to school, how is he gonna deal with it? He's gonna act out in class.
Mhm.
He's gonna get into fights. He's gonna do stupid shit after school. He's gonna throw food in the cafeteria. And niggas, he's gonna get positive attention for that type of shit. Right? So he's gonna continue doing it, even though this guy is going through it. Like back then, it's crazy because I look at a lot of the things that we were doing back then. And back then you're like, oh, this guy's hilarious, or oh, this guy's cool, or this or that, right? But looking back on it, I'm like, yo, like these niggas was really going through it. It's crazy.
Right.
But back then we didn't have the tools to understand it. That's how they dealt with it. They were going through some serious shit, and the only way they could deal with it was acting up all the fucking time. When it comes to this kid, there's really no release. He's at school. He doesn't have a group of friends to support him, right? Like if he acts up in class, like they're not gonna laugh with him. They're gonna laugh at him, right? There's nothing that he can do. He's gonna be the fucking loser no matter what. And after 17 years, I feel like that's more likely to lead you to do something really dramatic. You know what I mean?
So what happens to the little black kids that get picked on in nicer neighborhoods that have the same results as him, where he can't go to nobody? Why don't he shoot up a school? That's what I'm asking. You know what I'm saying?
That I can't account for.
That's what I was more alluding to. Or what happened to the little Pakistani kid that live in a nicer neighborhood, and he's like a little, what society would deem a weird kid, which I think those kids be cooler than the cool kids anyways, because they're weirdos half the time. But what happens to him and he don't end up shooting in school? Or, you know what I'm saying?
Like what I think is, because the kid,
mom beats their ass.
The Parkland kid is Hispanic. The Parkland kid is Hispanic, so he's technically a minority. I think it's a numbers game. I think it's a numbers game. So I feel like the percentage of like, all right, so let's say you're like the black kids that are in these nice neighborhoods, they're more likely for people to look up to them than to be bullied. I think.
How you came up with that conclusion?
Like, I mean, like, look at hip hop music. Why is it so popular? Like, all right, so like, I don't want to like get too deep into this, but like,
nah, get deep.
Pause. Pause.
Oh my, bro, that's a you problem, dog. If I say we're having a conversation, I'll tell brother get deep, and you take it somewhere else. Like that's on you, dog.
Pause.
That's a you problem. You need to look inward.
Pause.
I really feel like the black kid in an all-white school is most likely getting along pretty great. I think he's probably an athlete. He's probably more athletic than everybody else.
That's not
the girls.
A better dancer.
Happy, right? Like the girls are. He's probably getting a decent amount of attention from the women. Again, just on average, there's a bunch of black kids or whatever kids that are not getting along so well. But I think overall, the majority of kids, like if you're a black kid and you're going to Harmony, where it's majority white, you're getting along pretty well.
I don't think that's always true, because I went to Olsen. I went to Olsen Middle School. I went to a magnet program. I don't know if y'all know what magnet is, but in South Florida, if you excelling in your academics, you go to a magnet school. A lot of these magnet schools was in predominantly white areas. I went to one of them that was like, I had to take an hour bus ride to get to the school. I got picked on a lot because I looked it different. And my language is off too, but at the same time, I'm like, I think that's generalizing, because you look at hip hop or you look at what's cool at the moment, but I don't think that's fair to the kids that's not the cool kids and they don't, fit in. to say something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like whoever's not the norm in most situations, they're not gonna take them in always. Like 9 out of 10 times, they're gonna ostracize him because he's not the norm. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened with even like a Jeffrey Dahmer. And I'm gonna keep going to him because that's what I saw recent. He was not the norm where he was from. He was weird. Like he was a strange
outsider, like an outsider.
Yeah, he was just a strange kid. Like if I grew up around him, I would have like get the fuck away from me. Like he was just awkward. Like they was dissecting frogs. I did that shit in my science class, 7th grade. He wanted to take the motherfucker home. Who does that? That's strange. You know what I'm saying? And then when they was going home with his pops, like when they was going home, he saw roadkill and he made his dad turn around to pick it up so they could dissect it at the crib. That's strange. You know what I'm saying? So they had no choice in the way. Kids don't know how to internalize it. They're gonna ostracize him.
Right. But the Jeffrey Dahmer thing is extreme because he would be awkward. He would be a weirdo in any situation. There's no situation where he's not a weirdo, right? Where like you being black is just weird in certain situations, right? Like, so that's not a direct comparison. But I do think like if you you can throw a dart on the map and anywhere in the United States and hit middle school or high school. And I bet you the most popular music there is hip hop.
No, but that's facts. But that's not. No, now you're talking about a music versus a person. That's not the same thing, though. That ain't the same shit because you talking about pop culture versus people experiences. Like hip hop is the number one genre in the world.
All right, so no, I got you. But they're gonna project those things onto you.
Not always. Fuck
do
no.
You think this is kind of like sidebar? I guess
when somebody looks at you, they automatically assume you listen to hip hop, that you know how to dance, that you play sports. Like I guarantee you.
Yeah, but anyway. that don't mean the amount of acceptance that they're gonna take from you is gonna be. We fucking went to Georgia. I did a family trip 2019. Yeah, 2019, right before COVID hit, right? Buki, my youngest nephew, he's tall now. That motherfucker skyrocketed me.
He'll dunk on us, bro.
Yeah. That motherfucker big. We go in the gas station in Georgia. Georgia has a lot of black people, right? Yeah. A lot of black people in most parts of Georgia because it's a southern state. We go in the gas stations just because the motherfucker stuck out. They watching them. Man, fuck that. I could get off that. I could bring Clyde. Me and Clyde went in Plantation, right? Crazy name. Plantation, Florida. We went to Menchie's. I've been to this Menchie's 100,000 times, no problems. But I had a kid and a woman with me, family man. Oh, nothing, no problem, right? Me and Clyde goes to this Menchie later on. They watching him. The lady's like, "Oh, you gonna take this flavor? You gonna do this? You gonna woo woo?" He got locks, all that shit. He stands out. They're not gonna willing to accept somebody that stand out that quick. And that happens in black neighborhoods. Fuck that. We could go back. In my middle school, they used to pick on the little bit of white kids that was in the school because they stood out. They didn't just assimilate with them. You feel me? Like, so it's not always where they just gonna take you in because of hip hop or X, Y, and Z. 9 out of 10 times people relate to what look like them.
You're saying 9 out of 10 times they're gonna pick on you?
They're gonna, if they don't pick on you, they're gonna ostracize you. They're gonna keep you out the way because you don't look like me, you don't move like me, you don't talk like me. You were telling David, didn't you say you got picked on in Georgia?
I was actually thinking to myself like I could speak on that experience. Although I just got picked on a little bit. Like I was more but honestly, like if I were to compare like how I was accepted and received by the community, which was a predominantly black one, versus how I was like the very little bullying, if you want to call it, or getting teased that I experienced, like I was way more accepted than I was picked on. Eventually
or off back?
It happened kind of quick. I mean, I remember my first day of 4th grade, bro. Like Jamontre was my first dude I met, sat next to him in Ms. Brown's class, and
that's a crazy
recess we played basketball together. And, you know, like it's smooth sailing because I had a lot of similar interests with, you know, the kids that I was in school with. So Yeah, I got picked on because of my eczema, but other than that, other than that, I mean, there's a few, you're a white boy and this and there, like you want to be black, but I was accepted way more than I was roasted. I did the roasting. You feel me? The girls liked me.
This nigga stupid.
Some
He had to throw that little in there.
I want no square.
Hey, I was kind of just thinking this. Do you think teachers, and it may be asking a lot because I know that teachers are already like underpaid for what they do or whatever.
I'm already saying no.
You don't even know what I'm gonna say.
I already know.
What am I gonna say?
You can't give them guns, bro.
No, that's not what I was gonna say, man.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
They can even break up fights, bro. Like,
do you think that there should be kind of like a program, I guess, where teachers are able to year over year create kind of psychological profiles for kids? So that way it's like, you look at the fucking Dahmer, like you said, like, yo, this kid's a little weird trying to take this shit home. And I'm sure there's other like red flags along the way. So that way, like, once they become of age to buy a gun, like 18, like that shit pops up like, yo, this guy's sus, so he shouldn't be allowed to get a gun.
that's more Chris.
No,
Go ahead, Chris.
Because they're gonna that's gonna create so many other fucking problems. Like for the one kid that they catch, they're gonna like ruin the lives of like a couple thousand. You know what I mean? Like, nah, that would be a terrible idea.
You know who gotta suffer for a lot of them rules?
Yeah.
Not like me, goddamn it.
I feel you. Like I feel like there has to be some sort of evaluation somewhere, but teachers are already dealing with like the bias of being human or whatever.
Yeah.
To add on a fact that they're gonna fucking psychologically evaluate you, like that's just gonna make it worse.
I have a question. It's probably gonna go left, but maybe not. Do you feel like I had asked my store manager that? Do you feel like at certain positions of power, you're not afforded the ability to be as human as other people that's not in that position?
Absolutely.
There's like different standards. The higher you go up, I mean, ideally, like that person is gonna be held to a higher standard than your general employee.
Nobody gives a fuck if the cashier at Popeyes is smoking weed, but if the owner of that Popeyes get caught smoking,
well, I don't like that you use weed as like some type of like. Stop that, okay? You're part of the problem with the whole negative stigma when it comes to weed, okay?
I think a better
if the cashier's doing coke, like
I think a better instance
versus,
might be with like Obama when like it was kind of viewed negatively when he was smoking cigarettes and shit. And it's like everyone, like there's a bunch of people in America who are smoking cigarettes, but because he did it, it was like viewed poorly because he's the president and shit.
I hate to be that guy, but like I feel like that was because like Obama wore a tan suit and they roasted him. So like
no, that shit was a problem.
Yeah, you get roasted regardless. I think a better example is his daughter smoking weed and making out with the guy at a concert. Like she's 16 years old. That's what they fucking do. You know what I mean? Like, but because she was his daughter, that became a thing. And that's kind of just what it is. Like once you reach a certain status, like the rules change for what you're allowed to do and what you weren't allowed to do.
So y'all agree with that then? Because when I brought that up, because my store manager was like, I'm not allowed to be human like you. I'm like, in a way, no. Because accepting the position that you're at, you already took on the responsibilities that came with that position. You know what I'm saying? So there's certain mistakes I can make that you would never be allowed to make. Like I could have sex with some of my co-workers. I don't have no position of power. It don't matter.
Right.
You do the same shit, they finna get you the fuck up out of here because your position don't allow for those type of mistakes.
It's also kind of weird though, because when you also get to a certain level of power, it also doesn't matter. Like you get away with everything.
That's like
a supreme top of the tier level of power. The majority of people in power are not there.
True. I'm just
where they
saying,
can
but
do whatever the
it's
fuck
just
they
kind of like wild though. It's like you're here and you're not held to a certain standard. You're here and when you get above there, you're held to a certain standard. But then when you're up here, it's like the same as being down here, right? Like you're not held to the same standard, or you kind of get away with anything.
I agree with Rook though, because I know what he's talking about. Because like, if I'm late to work, they on my ass. That nigga don't open the store in the morning. It's like, well, I'm the store manager. Who gives a fuck? Go on about your business. Like, get away from me.
It varies. It varies for sure. Because like Robert Kraft went.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Niggas give you massage. Oh, I said niggas. I'm sorry. Women give you massages and right, and that was a fucking problem. And the whole time I'm like, everybody is in agreement here. Like, who gives a fuck? But he's not allowed to do that because he's Robert Kraft. It's really once you become the thing about getting into power is that you get to control the culture. That's what really it is. So like Harvey Weinstein, it's not that he was getting away with it, is that he created a culture where he could get away with it. But once we found out what it was, like once it came to light, he didn't get away with that shit no more, right? Like we fucking threw him on the cross and poured gasoline on that motherfucker, as we should have.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I was actually leaning towards when you use Robert Kraft as an example. I was thinking of how Rook said, you know, there's this the general pop like a regular ass Patriots employee could do whatever the fuck he wants because nobody cares about what the fuck he's doing. And then there's the next level where the GM Bill Belichick, he's held to a certain level, you know, a certain standard where he can't get away with a lot of shit. But then I think Robert Kraft is at that tip top position of power where he do whatever the fuck he wants. Like ask for happy endings. Like it only became news because somebody reported on it. But even when it was reported on, the majority of people did not give a fuck.
It was swept under the rug.
And then now, like nobody cares about that shit. Nobody's asking Robert Kraft about, you know, those happy endings he took part in because he's at that level. I feel like where he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
But let's be honest, like it wasn't swept under the rug because we're talking about it. The reason nobody gave
who are we, you know?
The reason
in the grand scheme of things.
The reason nobody gave a fuck is because it's fucking retarded, right? He went to
Whoa.
He went to a place and did what they fucking offered to do at the place. Right? Like, that's what he did. Like, right? Like if Bill Belichick did the same thing, I'll feel the same exact way. I'll be like, yeah, I mean that's the service that they fucking.
But Bill Belichick he's not at that level of power where he's not spending that much time in the limelight. Bill Belichick's on TV every Sunday
if Belichick does that, Chris, I promise
getting in trouble.
Fired.
The reaction is going to be very different.
If Belichick does that, I promise you he's getting fired or fined, suspended, like whatever.
I really don't think he would.
I mean,
is this like Umar whatever Sudopadaka whatever cheating on his wife? Yeah, whatever. Super Saiyan cheating on his wife. All them rich ass niggas do it all the time. Like motherfuckers cheat probably 9 out of 10 times. They probably cheat every other weekend.
I'm gonna swipe that one because I'm 100% convinced that there's a bunch of information we don't know.
Yeah,
true.
Most likely. Yeah.
The owner in Miami took Tom Brady or Deshaun Watson onto a boat, and they had to sacrifice how many draft picks? So it's not like these guys are immune.
All right, but that's now because you're like affecting the integrity of the game. Yeah, okay. Same as dude that was betting on his team, and you know, Calvin or Ridley. your boy, yeah, Cal Ridley. Now you for a whole year.
So Sterling got caught saying some crazy ass shit. They forced him to sell the team.
All right, bro, but you're talking about like outlaw, like that's OD though. He's talking about his employees.
All right, and Dan Snyder is also in a position where they're asking him to sell the team.
He was also doing some wild shit.
Dan Snyder was on tape saying racist shit like Donald Sterling, though. Like,
all right, got a bunch of like sexual harassment stuff.
So who's the third one that's above the consequences? Who's like the third guy who should have to give up his team, but he isn't? This is what I'm saying. Like, was
it dude from the Sun? Or well, I guess it's happening to do from the Suns, Sarver, right?
Well, Sarver didn't have they didn't make him get rid of the team. He was just like, oh, what was me? I'm gonna sell the team because y'all are annoying type shit.
But niggas is pushing that way though. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he's without consequences. the thing is that when you're all right, so the main difference here is when you're a fucking boss, who's gonna hold you accountable? Yourself.
Nobody.
Yeah.
When you're an employee, niggas can actually like do shit to you. That's the real difference here. To say that the Suns owner isn't suffering any consequences isn't true because we're shitting on this nigga on ESPN every single day.
Hey,
That's not getting swept under the rug.
Yeah. So he's selling his team, and he's going to make billions of dollars still from it.
Yeah.
All right,
Poor
cool.
thing. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
that's fine. That's fine. Urban Meyer is still getting paid as a Jaguars coach. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this nigga was wilding from day one, and they sucked. And the nigga's still gonna get paid millions of dollars to sit at home on his couch. So,
yeah, true. But
not a bad gig.
They really paying him?
yeah, they got
Same with John Gruden.
Yeah, quarterback coaches are like fully, or sorry,
head coaches.
Coach contracts are like fully guaranteed. I read somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
So they have to negotiate to fire him, basically. So they're like, we'll pay you 60% of your contract. He's like, so you're gonna pay me 60% of my contract and not do shit? Like, yeah, cool.
Hey, we are at our hour though, a little bit over too. So we're gonna cut it off. But hey, come one, come all. Woodcrest certified. Thank y'all for listening. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you on the next video. Peace.